Yo, my people, it's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Captain Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE SmackDown main event, NXT, and also TNA Destination X review. Before I get started with anything, though, let's go into some news and something else that I saw this week. So, getting into all this stuff, first I'll start off with the reason why I'm late putting up this review is because I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and this movie was really, really good. I'm not going to give anything away to my review of anything, but I really did like this movie. I thought all the effects was very good. It had a very much of a Star Wars vibe. You could tell where it connected with the other Marvel films, and I thought that all the characters in it was very well. The star that stole the show was most definitely Rocket Raccoon, but I thought everybody else, including Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, you had Zoe Saldana as the green chick, I forget her name, and you had Groot, the big old tree. All that was very good. And also the guy that connects us to the wrestling world, Batista, I thought was very fun in this movie as well. He played mostly a straight guy, and the way he played up to everybody's jokes was very fun, and I thought that he did a very nice job in this movie. The villain in this movie wasn't too great, but I thought they did a nice job of, playing up to him and letting him be the straightforward, simple villain that he needed to be. And I thought, compared to the one that we had in Thor, I thought he was the better villain, and I thought he was very fun in this movie. So yeah, I thought this was a very fun movie. If I had to grade it, I would give it an A-. I really did like this movie, and it's one of my favorite superhero movies, along with being one of my favorite Marvel movies out there. So yeah, very fun movie. Go check it out, people. Next bit of news right now is all the stuff came out for the WWE Network. They only got up to 700,000 subscribers, and it's a low number, but I think it's what it is that you're going to see for the whole, just what their demographic is as far as people who want to buy on the network online. They are saying that they're going to start putting it out around the world and stuff in more countries, so that's very good, like Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and stuff like that. They're all getting it by August 12th or October or throughout the rest of this year, or probably a little bit into next year. I think they said by the mid next year that all the places that they want to have it will have the network, so that's very good. It also caused like a lot of strife going on, by the network not hitting this number. You had a lot of people let go at the Connecticut offices and stuff. They dropped the WWE magazine, which I meant to get a picture of that, but they dropped the WWE magazine, which is kind of sucks for people who still read it and stuff. To me, magazines are a dying breed, so I really have no problem with them doing that. If they want to, still keep the magazine stuff going, they can just do what they've been doing right now and just put everything on a website and just promote more of the stuff from the website. All the little articles that they put out and stuff like that. They can promote that stuff from the website, and they can create probably little newsletters or something like that if they want to put something out there for people to buy. So yeah, probably put something inside the newspapers and stuff like that. It was just a WWE newsletter, and that would be something more cheaper. Also going on with the cuts, you had Ricardo Rodriguez, who was let go today or this week. I think it was more of a mutual type thing where he had posted on his Twitter about him being let go and that he wanted to wrestle more. So I think this one may be more of a mutual thing, but it does cut another, person off the roster from them using them. Ricardo Rodriguez had a cool, little time in the WWE. His stuff with Alberto Del Rio was very fun, really nice to watch. He had a nice little feud with Alberto Del Rio afterwards, and once they went their separate ways, they kind of just both fell downhill from there. I thought he was doing okay in NXT, but especially after TakeOver, it was nothing special putting him in a mask with Kalisto. So, it is what it is with that stuff. Next, you get are starting with our shows, and that is start off with WWE main event. You had Dean Ambrose come out. He started going on just about Seth Rollins. He wants to fight him, going back and forth with the whole thing, just going the whole crazy Dean Ambrose route. You get Alberto Del Rio, who comes out. He starts talking shit about Dean Ambrose. They go back and forth, and you get Del Rio, who comes to the ring, kicks Ambrose, runs out, and just basically sets up a little tension for their match later on the night. I thought this opening segment was okay from both guys. Dean Ambrose is always good when he gets on the mic and, does this little thing. I thought Del Rio was okay here, but, still play up the whole Mexican accent and stuff like that. Next, you get a tag team match with the Usos versus Ryback, a normal Usos versus Ryback match. The main thing to get from this was having the black dudes on commentary with Kofi Kingston, Biggie Langston, and Xavier Woods. Basically them just saying, we're here for a reason. we've been put down all this time. We're not going to tell you our main purpose, but we're going to kind of give you a feel of why we're here. I did like them on commentary. I thought Xavier Woods is a pretty good talker when you hear him, and when he like kind of bring himself out there as that type of heel that he's pushing, and kind of pushing what these two guys are. So I'm very curious to see where they go with this stuff, and I'm very interested to see how they play these guys up. I like that they're playing them more as disgruntled workers and guys who just feel that their spot doesn't need to is being taken away from them when it could be. I like the way that he played up Kofi Kingston being a 10-time champion from all different championship brackets in the WWE, and how Big E is one of the prospects that just not really getting his chance, and Xavier Woods brought in with the dancing gimmicks and stuff like that. So I like the way they're playing that, and you had a little bit of it with Damian Sandow and stuff, which it didn't really work. A little bit with the Miz, it didn't really work. So I think these three guys are going to work this kind of disgruntled gimmick to a better, nice, a lot more nice perfection. Next, and basically you end that match, which it was really just another tag team match with the Usos picking up the win over Ryback. So next you get a match with Tyson Kidd and Zack Ryder versus Slater Gator, which is Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil. They have a normal match, nothing too much to it. Even this time you actually get Titus O'Neil, Heath Slater, Slater Gator pick up the win over Zack Ryder and Tyson Kidd. The only problem I have with this is that they played Tyson Kidd up here as in the babyface role. Even kind of both teams were playing babyfaces here, but the stuff with Tyson Kidd going down to NXT is very interesting. So I don't kind of like to see him being pushed away from that onto some main roster stuff, because I feel that develop him in there and bring him up with a purpose when he gets to the main card, because you can tell that he has something very much interesting in him when he's down at the NXT developmental system. Next, you get your main event, which is Alberto Del Rio versus Dean Ambrose. I thought these two put on a pretty chill match here. Nothing too big to write home about. It ends up with Seth Rollins coming out and him and Dean Ambrose start fighting. Ends by I think it was a DQ, and Alberto Del Rio picked up the win from here. They all fight. Both of them fight. You get Dean Ambrose who gets back in the ring and hits a pretty soft dirty deeds onto Del Rio, and ends the show with that, just looking strong over there. So I thought this show itself was a pretty okay show for its own right. Nothing too great, nothing too bad. I really did like the stuff with Xavier Woods and his guys. I like that part, and I thought the Del Rio and Ambrose stuff was okay. Next, you get NXT, and that happened on the 31st of July 2014, and you kick off the show with Tyler Breeze versus Angelo Dawkins. And I thought this match was just another Breeze squash match. It did exactly what it wanted to do, what it needed to do, and that was basically have Breeze come out, lay out Angelo Dawkins, and go on about his business, and that was exactly what they wanted to do here. After that, you had Adrian Neville, who came out after Tyler Breeze was trying to introduce his music video, which he said is nominated for Oscar, for a documentary Oscar at the Academy Awards. So I thought that was pretty funny. But you get both of them who come out, they start cutting promos on each other. You get Tyler Breeze, who tells Adrian Neville that he just got a text message on his phone and they looking for another Hobbit. And then you got which I thought that was pretty funny. Then you had Adrian Neville, who basically talk shit about Tyler Breeze's mom. So just them going back at each other with cheap shots. I thought their interactions were okay. Adrian Neville was still not really great on the mic, but as far as the match itself goes, it was just another squash match, nothing too big from it. Next you get is a Divas match, which is Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. The interesting thing here is that they cut a lot of the character stuff from Becky Lynch as far as the whole Irish gimmick. She has a new ring music. She has a new wrestling style. She doesn't do the jig anymore. And I really do like the way that they're pushing her now. It kind of feels like what Renee was saying, that they're pushing her more as a rocker chick like Lita. So I kind of like that. But as far as their match goes, I thought they had a pretty fun match. You had Charlotte, who attacked Becky's leg the whole match, and it made it very nice, look and style the way that Charlotte was doing it, especially playing up to her being, kind of a Ric Flair type person, or as far as, that he and her dad, so playing up to the whole attacking the leg thing. You get Becky Lynch, who comes back at part of the match, but it really doesn't help. Charlotte ends up getting the win with the bow down to the Queen. I would like to see Charlotte do more with the leg as far as picking up the win off of a for figure four or something, but it was okay for what she did just to wrap it up. So I thought this was a pretty chill match between both girls. Also, after that, you had Charlotte and Bayley, who was in the back, and they cut a promo against each other. Basically, Bayley saying she's happy that the BFF's over, and Charlotte saying, "Don't say my name no more." I thought the promo was pretty average from both girls. I would have felt like they probably needed to do that one again. Next, you get the Ascension versus what is these dudes' names? And they're Steve Cutler and Mac Miles. Squash match, nothing to it. They end up hitting the Fallen Man, putting these dudes away. The big thing after this was them cutting a promo, basically them saying they're ready for annihilation, total annihilation. The guys talking isn't too great. That's not their strong suit. Their suit is just basically getting in the ring and trying to beat up guys like some bruisers. So, it was okay for the beatdown itself. And as far as the promo goes, a little bit below average. But, hopefully they can get there and just let them do what they need to do, and that's whoop ass. After that, you get another tag team match, which was Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley versus the Mechanics. And this is Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Scott Dawson's returning after an injury. And as far as how I feel about this match goes, you had before the match, and I can go to a picture of both guys, Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley was in the backstage, and they were basically doing a thing with JoJo. And at one point, Mojo Rawley says that him and JoJo could be Mojo Jojo, so that was pretty awkward, I guess. I like the reference, but I can't stand Mojo Rawley. But you had Bull Dempsey interact with them off of that, and basically just doesn't like the whole goofy stuff that Mojo Rawley is putting out. As far as this match goes, I thought it was a pretty average match. The Mechanics tried to do more technical stuff. As far as them being a new tag team with the Mechanics, it's a general tag team. Kind of feels like a jobber tag team that, even will be jobber at a main roster. It's not too much to them guys. I like that they do have a similar style to them and dress and stuff like that, and you could probably do something with them as a lower level tag team, but I don't see anything going from there. As far as the match goes, you get Mojo Rawley and Bull Dempsey, who come out with the win here after Bull hits his finisher. And you had a little bit of friction between these guys earlier in the match, but I really do see this not going on far as a tag team, but this leading to the next special event, which is happening on September 11th, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be called NXT TakeOver 2. So, I can see these two guys going at each other, and basically the friction from them going against each other and having a match against each other at the next NXT TakeOver. So your main event that you got was Tyson Kidd, who came down with Natalya, and he was taking on Adam Rose, and he came down with his Exotic Express. As far as their match goes, I thought it was a pretty chill match. You had to start off the match where Adam Rose gives Natalya a sucker, and she actually puts it in her mouth and start, licking on it or whatever. Tyson Kidd comes to take it away from her. This got a huge pop from the crowd. I really didn't like that, playing up on the whole crazy, kind of Ash Hollis thing of Natalya, not really supporting her husband like she should. But as far as this goes, you had just Tyson Kidd just beating down on Adam Rose. Adam Rose got a little bit of offense in, and it came down to where Tyson Kidd was getting more and more distracted by Natalya and the whole lollipop and shit like that. You get Adam Rose, who ends up ending the match with a roll-up, I believe. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, Adam Rose ends the match with a roll-up. And then off a distraction, and then you get Tyson Kidd, who's just pissed off about it and just leaves Natty alone in the ring after he shoves his shoulder to her. So I thought the match itself was pretty okay. I was more interested in the storytelling in the match, and I thought that was very good. You barely can do anything with Adam Rose at this point. He only gets a little bit of crowd pop, and it's more along the lines of the story between Natalya and Tyson Kidd, which I think is very fun to watch right now. One of my more favorite stories in the WWE. And as far as all the wrestling, I really do like the story between these two. Next, you get your TNA Destination X show. Yeah, it was a really, really interesting show, I'll say the least. I thought some matches were fun to watch. I thought some parts were fun to watch. The whole thing with Sonata and James Storm and the whole match that they had was pretty chill. Some of these are out of fucking order. But you start off the night with the Wolves versus the Hardys. And I thought they had the best match of the night. They had a lot of good tag team stuff going on. You get the Wolves who come out with the win here. I thought it was a pretty fun match. Nothing really too much to build towards this match, but I thought it was pretty fun for what it was. You also had in the night the team of Dixie Carter's team basically cut a promo introducing to the world Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson, what they call, I believe his name was Rick Law here. Just a stupid ass name. They tried to make fun of Ezekiel Jackson, that name, but their name was even more stupid. So they basically proclaim their dominance here and leave off from that. You get Bully Ray and Devon and Tommy who comes out, say that they won a match. They want to put Dixie through a table. You get EC3 who offers a hardcore match, basically a hardcore war match. He had a long silly ass name for it, but basically a hardcore match. You didn't get it tonight, so on their Destination Next pay-per-view, which I don't fully understand what is a Destination Next pay-per-view, because I guess it's for the guys who are in the X division, but most of the show was more focused onto the main title match and on a lot on this whole stuff with Dixie and Bully. I brought more from that than anything. So you get Bully Ray who accepts all that stuff, and yeah, they're gonna have a match next week. You also had the Destination Next guys go at it. The winners from the 3 matches were Samoa Joe, Low Key, and Sonata. That's where the picture from earlier came from. I thought the matches themselves were okay. Nothing too big from any of the matches. I thought, a lot of good high flying and stuff like that. My biggest problem with TNA, and I get this from ROH too, is these guys really don't sell these hits and these moves and stuff. They're back up very quickly and stuff. Another thing, I felt that Low Key and Matic were too similar in the styles of just their character style, with the whole movement of the heads and stuff like that. I thought they were very too similar, and I was like still getting them confused even without Low Key wearing a mask. So I thought their matches were pretty good. You got Low Key, Samoa Joe, and Sonata who are moving on to next week to see who's going to be a new X Division champion. And you had your main event, which was Bobby Lashley versus Austin Aries. I thought these two put on a pretty chill match here. Nothing too big out of it. Austin Aries very much carried this match, but you had Bobby Lashley who did a lot of nice little strongman moves here, throwing Austin Aries all around. It ends up going down where Austin Aries tries to go for a dive, hits the railing, and Bobby Lashley throws him back in, hits him with the spear, picks up the win. Like I said, it was a pretty chill match here, nothing too big from it. As far as Destination Next goes altogether, it wasn't truly my cup of tea as far as watching it. I'm still a little biased towards TNA, especially after having so many times where I tried to watch it and it's just being horrible. So it's still hard for me to try to get into it, but I'll probably watch next week's show again if I have the time, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. Hopefully they can bring me back in before, they go off air and let me, go off with a good notice from TNA. So that's what it is with them. And also afterwards, they showed a promo of Dixie going through the tables, and it said it is going to happen. I didn't like this promo at all. I think that if you're going to promo something, you can say, okay, it may happen. Will it happen? Next week, we'll find out. Will it or won't it happen? Play it up to that. Don't just say, oh, it's going to happen next week. Watch. To me, you're giving it away. Give us some suspense here. And they even showed it too much where they damn near had her through the table at this segment. So we saw most of it. So I didn't really like that. It also doesn't play up to the fact that they're trying to play this as, this being kind of a live show. So I don't understand that part at all. But next, going on to WWE SmackDown, which happened on August 1st, 2014. And you start off the show with Cesaro versus Jack Swagger. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Thirsty as shit. Like Steve Austin, stay a drink of water for the working man. But you get Cesaro versus Jack Swagger. I thought these two had a pretty fun match to watch. The most interesting thing about this was that these guys were both in reverse roles as of last year, with Jack Swagger being the guy that was being jobbed out everywhere, and Cesaro, not of last year, but earlier this year after WrestleMania, and Cesaro being a guy that was looking to, push up to the main card and stuff like that and have a bigger name for himself. Cesaro's still getting some pretty good matches here, but Swagger most definitely is the over babyface, where Cesaro was that over babyface after WrestleMania. So it was very interesting to see how a few months changes just the whole genre of these two guys' character in no time. So you get Swagger, who picks up the win, making Cesaro tap out to the ankle lock at the end. So, like I said, I thought it was a pretty fun match between both of these guys. They know how to work. They know how to go down. So, go down, get down. So, I thought it was pretty fun to watch. After that, you get Lana, who comes out, talks shit about America, says their flag is better, says Russia's better, Putin's better, and challenges Zeb Culture to a flag match at SummerSlam. Zeb accepts it, pumps up America, and you have a big ass flag battle, wave battle, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to play this flag match at SummerSlam. Next, you get Randy Orton, who comes out, basically talks shit about Roman Reigns, proclaims that himself being champion, and kind of sets up everything for SummerSlam with him and Roman Reigns. So nothing too big from this. I do like the more aggressive side of Randy Orton here, and I did like that from him here. After that, you get Bo Dallas, who gets in a match with R-Truth after R-Truth takes away Bo Dallas's, I think it was 17 and Bo winning streak. So R-Truth and him go at it. Bo Dallas goes overboard, starts beating the shot of R-Truth past the 5 counts, and gets disqualified. Beats the shot of R-Truth so much that the crowd starts booing him. At first, the whole crowd was with him, saying, "We believe," all the whole little time. And that's kind of very interesting because the guys who WWE wants everybody to hate, they like. Everybody that WWE wants them to like, they hate. So, it's very interesting to see, especially since Bo Dallas was a hated guy down at NXT. And it's kind of vice versa for the NXT crowd because, the guys who WWE wants you to like at NXT, you can still hate, but it's different because you hating the heels because they're heels and stuff like that. Or, it's very weird the way that fans nowadays are. But yeah, Bo Dallas beats down on him, tells the crowd to leave, does his goofy ass smile and leave. I like the Bo Dallas character here and him being more vicious, but still I would have loved to see that loss come to somebody else. Next, you get a match where AJ quickly submits Rosa Mendez, walks up the ramp, and ends up getting pushed off the stage by Paige, and takes a big fall for her troubles. And you get Paige who talks shit afterwards, basically saying, "Oh, we're still friends" and stuff. For me, I thought this was the best segment these girls had so far. Very short, very quick, not Paige talking, just Paige acting like an asshole and throwing AJ off the stage. It adds a lot more to it. If you're going to do this whole frenemy thing, this kind of makes it to where AJ has to be pissed off after this, and you can make Paige do whatever you want her to do. But this should hopefully make it push the storyline on further. I did like this segment right here. After that, you get Dean Ambrose versus Kane and Seth Rollins in the handicap match. I thought this match itself was pretty average to me. The whole dynamic with Kane didn't really bring too much. You could tell that these guys weren't putting everything into this match. Dean Ambrose gets thrown over the barricade at one point towards the end, gets a chair, gets back in, and just starts going at people with it, picks up the DQ from it. Kane and Seth Rollins picks up the win. Ends up beating down Kane, DDTs him onto the chair, and starts beating down on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins gets out the ring, and they have a big stare down. So it's interesting to see where they go with Ambrose from here and how they're going to continue this feud going into SummerSlam. Next, you get a pretty dumb match with one of the Matadors versus Fandango. The girls in the bull distract Fandango with music and dancing and shit. Fandango gets hit with a backstabber, and the Matador picks up the win here. I didn't like this at all. The girls do crazy dancing and shit like that. I can care less. The only thing is that this is starting to turn Fandango face to me because he's starting to feel like the guy on the lower totem pole. It's like, all right, ladies, you fucked with this guy enough. It's not like he fucking gave you AIDS or something, he just cheated on you, it's alright now, you can stop that shit, because it's actually turning Fandango more babyface to me, like him being the guy who just can't get these bitches to leave him alone, you know? So it's very awkward to see where they're going to push this to, and whether or not he's going to stay healed, or whether or not, you know, he's going to actually have something for him. After that, you get The Miz, who comes down on commentary, and he goes into, starts talking about the match between Del Rio and Ziggler for the FT time. The match itself was pretty average, a normal Ziggler Del Rio match. You get you get Miz, who gets on top of the table, starts thanking people again, starts thanking Dolph Ziggler for letting him win the title. Ziggler gets distracted a little bit, but not really. Jumps out the ring, chases down the Miz. The Miz hops the barricade, runs away. Ziggler gets back in, catches a kick to the head, and then gets an arm breaker and made to tap. As far as this match goes, I thought it was pretty average. Nothing too big to it. I did like the Miz on commentary there. He has a, you know, he could talk as far as, you know, just him regular talking goes. He can do that. Not so much on the promo side. It ain't that great, but when he's on commentary, just doing that type of stuff, he's pretty good at that. I did like they're playing up the more between Ziggler and Miz. I just wish Del Rio wouldn't pick up the win here. Next you get Goldust and Stardust. And they do another goofy ass backstage promo. Goldust is wearing a cowboy hat and they're talking about a red ribbon or some crazy shit. Like I said, these guys have to get in the ring in order for this to work. After that, you get your main event, which Bray Wyatt comes out, cuts a promo about Chris Jericho saving us. Says Sister Abigail said there would be somebody to save you, wouldn't be a false prophet. And I thought that was a pretty chill promo from Bray Wyatt. You know, just keep going off of the whole save us thing. You had Chris Jericho cut a promo earlier tonight talking about how he's going to get rid of one spider with Eric Rowan, and this is basically a match to say whoever, if Chris Jericho wins, Eric Rowan won't be able to be at ringside for Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. As far as their match goes, I actually thought this was my favorite match of the night. I thought both of these are my second favorite match of the night. I thought the Swagger Cesaro match was a little bit better than this, but I thought this match was pretty fun to watch. You had Eric Rowan, who surprisingly held well with Chris Jericho, and, you know, just the way they were going at it was pretty fun to watch. Luke Harper gets thrown out earlier for pulling on Chris Jericho, and the referee hears it and throws Luke Harper out. The rest of the match was just, you know, Eric Rowan just being the big guy, throwing all these crazy, you know, kicks and shit like that. He gets up to the top of the rope trying to do a big super fallaway slam. Doesn't really work. Gets pushed down. Chris Jericho ends up hitting him with a Fu Muse, and they just go back and forth for a little bit. Eric Rowan gets in the corner, Chris Jericho does a reverse, hits him with the walls of Jericho, hits him with the cold breaker, and picks up the win from that. And as far as the show goes, I thought it was a pretty okay version of SmackDown tonight. Nothing, like I said, nothing too great from it, especially going off of Monday night, which was an okay version of Monday Night Raw. My favorite things from SmackDown most definitely was the Cesaro versus Swagger match. I did like the main event match, but everything else was pretty much either filler or, you know, just stuff pushing on a storyline I really don't care about. I did like the Diva stuff here, but I still can use a lot more change in character from that. So, people, sorry about that. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. My links are down below to hit me up. And keep watching wrestling, people. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Very fun movie. Thank you for watching. Peace.